reri bedima egenanalaya gurnam koitate dunia.
Hello, it's 2016 FootySausage Review. Let's take a look at the season that was, starting with the draft. With Rocky taken first, he and Dangerfield, both chosen by Sean, were the best two taken inside 30, each averaging 12 more than last year, but Rocky only played 12 games, a cocklock more than Beams or Swan, but amongst a third of the top 30 to miss and spew chunks. Looking at the best of the draft, and it's Danger on top, followed by Merritt, who kicked it up 27 points from last year, as did Aaron Hall. Also worth noting, 6 of the best 16 were drafted by Vaughan. Nice. To the worst now, most of those didn't play or were picked late. That all influenced the season considerably and left us with this ladder. Here we are, and right at the bottom, Gaffy Taffy, with the least points overall and the second hardest draw by points against, meant he only won 4 games and crawled home with the sacco. Also missing finals was 9th placed league returnee Beaufriend's back. She had a reluctance to trade early, but turned her 1-6 start around, winning 5 of the last 8, finishing with the 5th most points, but had the hardest draw, and ultimately left her run too late. Making the finals for only the second time in Footy Stags history, Wet Dogs repeated the 2013 result, losing to 5th place Jim in the first elimination final. He had the 3rd highest total, but overall choked on the big stage. His 891 was his lowest non-buy score for over 10 weeks. Also eliminated in the first week, Ace Testy Saglow. At the halfway mark, the Pink and Black were sitting in second place, but then lost all 8 games of the home and away season and then went down by 29 in the final. Josh has steadily got worse each season, finishing 2nd, 3rd, 4th and now 6th. Stigmata Trophies had the 3rd easiest draw, but once again limited trades, this time only 6 for the entire year. Starting with a bang, scoring over 1100 in round 1, Silvery Slivery Jebbins looked like a contender. He managed 2 more kilos in the first 4 rounds, and heading into the buys, race was equal top, but then it went to shit. He lost all 3 buys by a combined total of 612, then added 3 more losses, finishing 2nd last in total points. Despite this, he finished 4th and managed to draw with ladder leader Eaton in the first week of the finals. Although a draw meant a loss and a do-or-die final against the eventual grand finalist Darling Catchment, which was also a loss, as Thompson was rested and wasn't replaced. 7 players scored under 75, and so Reese made it 0 from 3 in finals. For the 3rd time in 4 years, Heady Butts made the top 4, one of only 3 teams to score more for than against. Dan again made it to the prelims, but this time was sent forth by minor premiers Splunks. 4 wins clear in 2nd, setting the Barlow again failed to finish top of the ladder despite scoring the most in 3 of the past 4 years, averaging 1,050 and a winning margin of 178. Scoring over 1,100 on 6 occasions, twice as many as the next best. Alas, it meant nothing come the pointy end, as his only previous finals loss coming in a Crombie clash, history repeating, and Q missed the grand final. And now to our 2 grand finalists. After never getting above 7th all year, 2 big final round wins propelled the Darlings into 5th by season's end, finishing 6th in points overall and points against, one of only 3 teams not to score over 1,100, and 2nd least 1,000 plus scores. only 2 for the season. But it all meant sweet fuck all. When it came to the finals, Jim won all 3 finals to make progress to the big one. No team in FootySausage history has won more games than the 2016 Spelunkers. Eton managed to drop only 3 games overall, winning the last 9, putting him on top of the ladder from round 13 to the end. Second highest score for and second least against gave him an average winning margin of 129. Second most scores over 1,000 and second most over 1,100, and the only team to win all 3 by matches. Come finals, he scraped through in the first qualifying final, eking out a draw in the Davies Derby. But that was enough to progress to the preliminary final under the home team wins draw rule. He then took care of arch rival Dan with ease to qualify for the big dance, as some people say. Not sure who these people are, but apparently they are people and they say that. Now, before we look at the grand final, let's take a look at the All-Australian team, decided by player averages after the home and away season. Starting at the back, the wise early moneyball defensive drafting style of the Beaufrets netting 2 Centurion defenders. To the engine room now, and it's the double-pronged stars of Wet Dogs. Who knows how well they would have gone if Rocky played the whole season. Jack Stephen of Testies and a draft diamond Luke Parker at that number there. In the ruck, Max Gawn, also of Eton, was originally picked at 109, then dropped after 3 games, but redrafted wisely by Eton 1 week later. The Colts' best forward was picked by setting the bar low at number 55. Zorko picked by Dan for a second year, and 12-Volt joining Spelunkers for a 3rd consecutive year. Drifting over to the bench are backmen and 2 mids for Q and 2 early picks for the Davies brothers. Now, if you're still with us, it's what you've been waiting for. It's the 2016 FootySausage Grand Final. It's the Eton Spelunkers up against those darlings of Catchment. It's a repeat of last year's granny, and a lazy repeat of Vaughan's logo. Pick it up, Unky. Okay, what do we have here? It's a season snapshot and worth retaking. Onto the team sheets for darlings. Is this really the side they're going with? Good grief. Basha Hooley missed a lot of the season, but is in top finals form. Zach Williams has averaged just under 90 since being selected. Mackie, 200s and 2 turds in the last month make Mackie a roll of the dice. Geordie Lewis scored 98 in the qualifier, his first non-100 since round 9. Bryce. What kind of a name is Bryce anyway? Yipes. Sebastian Ross, been on the waiver 4 times this year but finds himself at the big one. Dom Tyson, better than you'd think but still unrecognisable. Steffi Martin, one of only 4 on-field players originally drafted by James. Buddy Franklin, coming off his highest score of the year, but can you trust him not to crash? Like into a parked car, for instance. Toby. Dev. Over to the bench, and darlings have a catchment of backups unlikely to get a stint. You've seen the pretenders, and now it's time for the contenders. A super supremo year for Vaughan, helped by those 3 magnificent bastards there. Over to the team sheets, please. Oh, well, there you go. What a team. Eton Spelunkers. More like Eton Spunks. Okay, in the back line we have Jared McVeigh. Not as good as his last year, but has finished strong. Pittard, topsy-turvy season from Jasper, the friendly ghost player Malcheski. Won't count. His course will be subbed for lowest bench score. Luke Parker, drafted at pick 69. Nice. Rory Sloan, this late pick has averaged 114 since round 10. Selwood, it's the 4th season at Eton for Gelwood. Could this be the year they hold up the cup? Cripps, picked up mid-season, averaged just under 100 cents. Maxi Gore, drafted late, dropped and reclaimed with good reason, has been a standout since. Dusty's coming up 132 in the prelim, a justified early pick. Nick Rewald, 3rd year as a splunk and still getting it done. Rounding out a killer 3-pronged attack, it's Gunston and his shit-eating grin. Over to the bench and Josh Kelly, one of 3 chances to be zombied for Malcheski. We'll see how he goes once the game starts. The other Kelly. Took Miller, all filler. Just picked up and likely to stay on the pod. Bob Murphy, very corpse, just a stiff on the bench. Now let's start this bloody game.
Thanks, Ken. It's Darling Catchman in the yellow and Eton in the magenta. And the first bounce is won by Martin, who gets it down to Gibbs. Takes a bounce and kicks high into the 50. Misses everyone, but Toby Green crumbs and kicks the first goal of the 2016 Grand Final. Back in the centre, umpire bounces. Gorn a little slow to react there. Lewis handballs to Seb Ross. Bounces, but it's caught by Spelunker Cripps. McVeigh now dashes out of defence, kicks onto the wing, and the chest mark is taken by Gelwood. Takes off, bounces, and a third goes for glory.
Out of bounds, on the full.
Catchment playing keepy off at the back line, off to a very pale Basher Hooley, but it's intercepted by Rewalt, who drills to Dusty in the pocket. Wastes no time in kicking. Spelunking's off the mark, but only by a singular point. And there's the siren. Now, because it looks like I'm talking into a dick, let's move on. Terrible bounce. Play allowed to go on. There's a scramble. Blast kick from Parker. Gunston marks and kicks, but it's after the siren. Very short quarter that. And the ump pays the point. Crowd likes it. Ken.
Half time and it's still anyone's game. Buddy only 30 and only 169 from the 3 darling forwards. That's gonna hurt. Eton's first sub Kelly is under par, so it looks like Vaughan is gonna remove the corpse for free agent Jeremy Howe.
Umpire holds the ball aloft to start the 3rd quarter of the 2016 FootySausage Grand Final. And we're done. Could this quarter possibly get any quicker? Yep.
Well, that's it. Eton Spelunkers victorious over Darling Catchment. Every player contributing to win by 140 points.
Y'all ready for this?